Boo! At the open, all-time high for the S&P 500.
It's your boy Jimmy. Jimmy.
Now what's worth doing is worth doing for money.
Straight from y'all street to Wall Street.
Anybody tells you money's the root of all evil doesn't make up happen.
Dudes wake up, hope their girl turned on so they can get a little bit. Only woman in the morning, I wanna turn on this. Deck it quick. While the average man looking at this sad like she fine as it. I'm over here looking at tails and whips like 5-6. I left the mayhem for the market. Now I don't want a dope spot, I want to stop it. I know that booty got dropped, triggered my stop losses, but I ain't got time for your wop. My V-wops crossing. Rich with hot V's and pushing hot strategy and plans to make grand. Still in my wife beater, Batman pajamas, house slides, and about 5 hot picks for the day. Cause I like the way the Dow bounce. 4 hot dips on call, so I got options. 2 with a lot of volume, 1 with a double bottle. Now I know dumb money don't understand. Am I talking about my trade or just thinking with my MACD? You see, we different in the way we move. You move with kittens and your dog, I move with bears and bulls. I got a green thumb, grow with the marijuana. Waking up with the fun, some commas. Jump out of bed, big profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, big profits. Light up, watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. They used to watch me move them packs and stop. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ. Profits. Used to run from the ATF and them cops. Now I run down ETL, make profits. I jump out of bed, make profits. Eat my bacon and eggs, make profits. Light up, watching them candles, profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. See, me and Jim Cramer been talking mad money. Said today I'm taking a risk. They got the feds coming, but I got support here with me. I call a short squeeze. You get the drop, pull the trigger, and abort these. If she stay on my watch list, I might have to wife her. But I know better. I'm a true trading group lifer. Call up the Wolf of Weed Street. It's time to flip some profits. Go ahead, be hawking. Get your spot here. I'll double top that in the head and shoulders. Hit him up with this resistance. Watch him roll over. Cause I see John Wicks in contract. If I say I make $1 million a day, well, that's a large cap. You moving average, that's why you get crossed. Get split, get delisted, and knocked off. And I'm setting the whole block off. I'm buying GameStop and selling them roadblocks off. Jump out of bed, make profits. Eat my bacon and egg, make profits. Light up, watching them hand, make profits. While I'm still in my sand, making profits. They used to watch me move them packs. Now I watch moves in the NASDAQ. Used to run from the ATF and them cops. Now I run down ETF. Hey, my family. Hey, go, what we doing, my man? Hey, make profits. Hey, Shug, Mike, what we doing? Hey, make profits. Yo, Wolf, Professor, what we doing? Hey, make profits. That TTG money gang, making profits. We some snipers.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to True Trading Group live stream. Man, there's so much to talk about today. Nvidia had the largest market cap loss on record in history. We're at $600 billion in market cap loss in one single day. We have to talk about some updates from my live stream last night, which there's some things I want to discuss and some corrections I want to make. There's some trades from today that were absolute freaking monsters. Congratulations to the members of TTG for what was a huge day inside a True Trading Group. And I expect a whole lot more of that because there's a ton of catalysts that are going to cause volatility still as the week goes on with earnings, a Fed meeting, and this DeepSeek AI issue with China is just another wrinkle to throw into what I think is just going to be a wild and crazy week this week. And the volatility, I don't think, is done. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. My name is Michael Edward Paranati. I go by Michael Edward. I'm the co-founder and head trader of True Trading Group. In case you guys didn't know, we are the 2024 Benzinga FinTech Award recipient for Best AI Analysis Tool. My business partner and I actually in New York City just a couple months ago receiving that award right up on stage. There we are at the Benzinga FinTech Awards receiving the Best AI Analysis Tool. And it's only fitting that we show you guys, right? It's only fitting that we show you guys us receiving the Best AI Analysis Tool award on a day when the market just went absolutely haywire based on everything around and involving AI. And, again, I want to make a correction. I'll talk about this more, but I was doing a live stream last night and things were unfolding in real time and the markets were trading lower. And I didn't have all the information at that time when I was live and I was trying to get it. And I, went back after the live stream was over and I went back and I went to see, what was going on and realized that my initial analysis last night was incorrect because I didn't have all the information on the reason why the markets were really selling off. And then, last night I very quickly realized that it is in fact the main driving force behind it is this DeepSeek issue. And I got all the information. We saw what happened to the markets this morning. And then that changed my analysis from last night into today. And then I'll go over with you guys what the analysis was once I had all the information this morning. And I'll let you listen here, the analysis that I gave inside of True Trading Group this morning, because it gave us phenomenal opportunities. I'll give you guys my thoughts on this whole DeepSeek issue. Is Nvidia a buy? Is this an overreaction? Is this the moment the AI bubble pops? This is all the things that everybody's asking here today. And I'll give you my thoughts, my insights, my opinions with that and everything that I'm doing with my own money. And I'll tell you who I think the real beneficiaries are of the situation here with DeepSeek and who the companies are that are going to potentially struggle because of this DeepSeek and how much I believe that we can actually trust what we're hearing about DeepSeek. We'll talk all about that here today on this live stream. So if you guys are wondering why I should listen to anything it is that we discuss here, that I discuss here, it's not because I believe that I'm the world's greatest trader and have a 100% win rate. I do not. The reason why I think you should listen to the things that I discuss here is because I was trained by professionals on Wall Street. It's my first job out of college working at T3 Alpha Fund in New York City. They had me go through a training program before they let me touch $1 of the fund's money. And then 2008 happened, which was the Great Recession, the big stock market crash, but also the same year that I received one of the firm's Trader of the Year awards. Now you fast forward, I'm the co-founder and head trader of True Trading Group, and along with my team of 8 other professional full-time trading mods and an over 30-person staff, we've helped thousands of members from all over the world reach their goals. We have 10,000 members in 115 different countries, truly a global community here at True Trading Group. So if you guys are new, smash that like button, show some love, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, make sure you guys never miss out on any of these live streams because we're dropping golden nuggets, giving you free analysis, trade ideas, and commentary to help you guys become better traders and to help you guys make money. All right. I go live every single Sunday evening And I share with people my thoughts on the market. I give you guys some of my top trade ideas. But sometimes things happen that cause you to have to adjust. I did not have on my bingo card for 2025, I didn't have a cheaper Chinese AI model that was going to cause Nvidia to drop 17% in a single day. That's not what I had. The other thing about your trading group that I think it's important that you guys know if you're not a member is that we're not just about day trading and swing trading. We do both inside True Trading Group. We day trade and swing trade every single day. There's day trades and swing trades alerted inside TTG every day. We trade stocks, options, futures. We do it all. So there's literally something for everybody. But we also cover long-term investing. And one of the things that we do in True Trading Group that all of our members really look forward to every single year is I publish a very detailed, in-depth market outlook report. And every year, I share with people my themes and my investment thesis for the year, which sectors I think are going to outperform, and what I think the overall market's going to do. In my outlook report for this year, one of the main themes and driving forces behind my investment approach to the year and where I'm allocating my own money is a theme that semiconductors are vulnerable this year to a pullback. And I am more bullish on software companies, as I believe the last 2 years of intensive AI aggressive, invest now, ask questions later, that is going to slow down, and companies are going to start to work more towards monetizing all of the billions of dollars that they spent on AI infrastructure so far over 23 and 24. Just last year alone, just between 4 companies, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, and Alphabet, just those 4 companies alone last year invested $200 billion into AI infrastructure. And I just didn't know how much longer that type of spend was going to last. And really my initial thoughts were that you have a situation where this year interest rates are anticipated to now remain higher than originally thought. People thinking 4 rate cuts. Now we're only looking at 2. Inflation expectations and inflation being stickier than people had thought coming in 25. And I felt that was going to be enough of a reason for investors to start to become a little more impatient with these hundreds of billions of dollars in investment into AI infrastructure, to where you're going to want to see these companies start to maybe tighten up the spending and look to monetize with different application rollouts to actually start to generate new revenue from all of these investments. And that was the thesis in the 25 Outlook report. Now, I didn't know that you were going to have this situation with DeepSeek, and there's going to be this other AI model that was going to said to be able to do it for $6 million, $5 million, whatever it is that they're claiming, which I think is complete nonsense and total BS, by the way. And we'll get into my thoughts on DeepSeek and whether or not I believe this is overreaction. But I didn't think that was going to be the case, but that is certainly the event that has triggered that shift in investor sentiment. And can't be any more clear than when you see what happened today with Nvidia down 16%, AMD down 6%, Broadcom, Broadcom down 16%, Nvidia down 16%, AMD down 6%, ARM down 10%. I mean, these are all of your semiconductors, and all your semiconductors, Taiwan Semi down 12%. Okay, Micron down 11%. These are your semiconductors, and they got the absolute piss kicked out of them today. Meanwhile, you take a look at other areas of the market, and you look at the software side of the market. Today was not a sell everything sell-off. The Dow was actually up a couple hundred points today. So market breadth today, financials were strong, healthcare was strong, other areas of technology were strong. Apple was up 3.5% today. Uber was green today. Meta made a new all-time high, up 2% today. Amazon finished the day in the green, up almost 0.5% today. This was not a blanket sell everything type of day. You take a look around, healthcare stocks like AbbVie were up 4%. United Health was up 2%. Medtronic was up 2.5%. right? There's other areas of this market that actually performed very well today. And that includes software. Software names, two of my favorite software companies that are in the market outlook report. Salesforce up 4% today. ServiceNow up 1.5%, made a brand new all-time high today. Okay, you take a look at some of the other. Datadog up 2% today. Palo Alto up 1% today. So as you take a look around, there are other areas of the market that did well. And this makes me feel even better about my thesis that software is the place to be and software is the way to go. And when you take a look at this DeepSeek situation, do I believe that there is a Chinese startup that nobody's heard of up until literally a couple days ago or a month ago at best? Do I believe that they were able to build a more powerful LLM than OpenAI and Meta and all of these other companies for the less than it would cost to buy a beachfront home in California? Meanwhile, all these other companies here in the United States have spent billions upon billions of dollars. Of course, I do not think that that is actually true. And I think that the majority of people don't actually believe that that is in fact true. But it's not about the capability of DeepSeek. That they did do what they're claiming to do. I just don't believe that they did it for $5 or $6 million, nor does anybody else. But it still seems like it could be, even if they're not telling the truth about that, which I really don't believe that they are, it still seems like it certainly didn't cost tens of billions of dollars. The estimate is that it was probably a few $100 million in the pre-training stages, which they failed to include in their R&D, and the pre-training model was probably looking at a few $100 million, which is still significantly less than the tens of billions. And the real function is that it cost a lot less to actually run. And that's a really big factor. And what that does is that put a real hard stop on the excitement and the froth and the sentiment on AI infrastructure, on high-end, the demand for high-end and the need for Nvidia high-end chips, and the demand and the need for nuclear power to power all of these AI operations and AI infrastructure and all of the data center management. So all of your stocks today that are related to hardware, semiconductor hardware, AI infrastructure, AI power generation, and data center management, those stocks got absolutely destroyed today. Stocks like VST, which is a big nuclear company that I actually like, was down 27% today because everybody is thinking that, well, if you can actually make a comparative model for that cheap and you can run it without 50,000 NVIDIA GPUs all tied together, then you don't need that type of power that everybody was originally thinking about, that caused these stocks like VST to go up tenfold over the last 2 years. And like the stock CEG, which is a company that actually signed an agreement with Microsoft for a nuclear power plant, that stock down 20% today. Now, again, I do believe that this is an overreaction to this DeepSeek situation. I don't think that people are just like that. You have this model that pops up in China and all of a sudden it's going to change the long-term outlook for AI power generation, data center management, and and high-end semiconductor and high-end chip hardware. I don't think that changes the long-term story. But what it does change is it changes investors' belief of the moat that surrounds and protects Nvidia and other early AI leaders. When you take a look at the past and you look at history and you look at technological advancements, innovation and technology and capitalism reduces prices, right? Capitalism and free markets provide room for competition, and technology advancements provide innovation, and that lowers costs. And that competition at the end of the day is a good thing for the consumer because it helps further advancements in products, goods, and services while also keeping prices lower. And Nvidia had a stranglehold on the entire market. I still believe that Nvidia does have a stranglehold on the high-end GPU market. And you had comments today from AI experts like Elon Musk. Okay, Elon Musk, who came out and said, he goes, there is absolutely no way that DeepSeek did what they did without, tens of thousands of NVIDIA GPUs, that they're not being truthful about what they did because the technology just doesn't exist for you to do that without those high-end chips, because there is no technology that's more powerful enough to do it. So it really just brings into question and brings a lot of doubt into what DeepSeek was actually, what they actually did, and how much of what they're saying is true, and how much of what they're saying is a lie, and how much of what they're saying is an omission of the truth. And that is what we have to kind of unpack here. And although I'll give you my opinion is that they're completely lying. My opinion is they probably had either a back channel into some NVIDIA's high-end chips, which they're not supposed to have access to. They probably had a back channel way to get their hands on those chips. They're not reporting that they have those chips, and they probably have tens of thousands of NVIDIA GPUs. And if that's the case, those are tens of thousands of dollars per unit. You do the math, it's over $1 billion that you're looking at in the cost for them to do what it is that they did. Even if so either that's the case, or they're not considering all of the pre-R&D and the pre-training, which was hundreds of millions of dollars. Nonetheless, there's no way in hell that they did this for $5 to $6 million. It's just not possible. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be possible to make investors second think the valuations that they're spending, that they're willing to pay for these companies. And this takes me back to my market outlook report, where I said that I'm cautious on semiconductors this year. And a lot of people are wondering, well, Mike, should I buy Nvidia now? Nvidia is down 17% today. It's the biggest market cap loss that we've seen in history in one day for any particular company. What should we do? Should we buy the stock now? I still believe that Nvidia has more room to the downside this year. I don't think that this is a situation where we're going to wake up tomorrow and everyone's going to forget about DeepSeek and Nvidia is going to go right back to where it was on Friday. I do not believe that that is the case. If you do not own Nvidia at all, and you've been waiting for a pullback to buy shares, and you didn't buy shares today, then I don't know what the hell you're waiting for, because you were considering, if you were considering buying the stock last week and the stock drops 17%, and then you should have bought some. I already own a lot of Nvidia. I already own a lot of Nvidia. So I didn't buy more shares today. I will buy more shares if Nvidia gets closer to $100 a share. That is the area that I will consider buying more shares. I already have a lot of Nvidia. I don't necessarily need to buy more, but I will buy more if it gets itself down closer to 100. If you are somebody that does not own Nvidia at all, then I do think that today's pullback gives you an opportunity to at least grab some, while holding some dry powder on the sidelines. So in the event that Nvidia does continue lower this year, that you can then scoop up some shares at cheaper prices. Right now, Nvidia sold off on the speculation and fear that the demand for their high-end GPUs is going to go down now that people are like, oh, well, we could build these models without high-end Nvidia GPUs. We can do this much cheaper. And everyone thinks that the demand for the chips are going to go down. And that very well may be the case. But right now, it's just a theory. It is speculation. Over the next couple of months, as these big hyperscalers report earnings, they're going to tell you whether or not they're actually reducing their CapEx on AI infrastructure, whether or not they are reducing their orders. Taiwan Semi is going to tell you if we can actually meet the demand for high-end NVIDIA chips now, because Taiwan Semi manufactures and makes the chips that NVIDIA designs. So you're going to find out over the course of this earnings report, or maybe the next earnings report. So when you fast forward months from now, what happens if, because there's a lot of people today that are not selling NVIDIA because they think that this DeepSeek situation is completely overblown. They think it's an overreaction, and they didn't sell NVIDIA today. But if you fast forward 3 months from now, okay, if you fast forward 3 months from now and you look at and you say to yourself, whoa, hold on a second. They actually are seeing the demand for their chips now slow down because of what's happening here with DeepSeek. Then you are going to get people that are going to sell this. You're going to get a whole nother second wave of selling pressure. And that could take the stock down to that $100 level. And that is when I would consider buying more. I would be careful as people are like, hey, you're saying, a lot of people have, listen, It's open source. You can try it for yourself. There's a lot of people tried it. It's absolutely true. Yeah, Dreamwalker. 5th time I think I've said it so far in this live stream. It's not a matter of capability. The capability of what it can do is true. What's not true is they did it for $5 or $6 million. That's the part that I don't believe. But I will also caution anybody, you guys do whatever the hell you want. You be my guest. I'm not downloading DeepSeek. I'm not downloading it all. Read the terms and service. They have access to all of your information. They will sell your information to third parties. They will house all of your and store all of your data and all of your information in China. So it's bound by China law. And they have access to all of your email and your Gmail accounts. None of that is true with ChatGPT. None of that is true. So I'm not downloading DeepSeek. I'm not using DeepSeek. I'm not doing it. Okay. I am very, very happy with all of the models that we have here in the United States. I certainly do not need to go ahead and download DeepSeek and use this Chinese company's model that literally in the terms and service tells you, yeah, you use DeepSeek, we're going to take all of your information and it belongs to us and we're going to store it in China and we're going to give it to third parties. And we also have access to all of your emails as well. Be my guest. Go for it. And call me a conspiracy theorist. Maybe, I don't know, but it's kind of crazy how as soon as they're like, hey, you got to sell TikTok, all of a sudden, here's this LLM. Everybody download it. It's amazing. We did the impossible. And now everybody's downloading this DeepSeek, LLM from China. Sorry, not going to do it. Call me crazy. Doesn't matter. I don't care what anybody thinks. That's my opinion. I will not be using DeepSeek. I just won't. I'm not going to be using it. But I'm really not buying that they did what they did with how the capabilities of the model. Sure. Cool. It does what it says that it does. The part I don't believe is how they built it and how much it costs to build it. That's the part that I don't believe. And I certainly would not be using something that blatantly in the terms and services tells you, yeah, we're going to take all of your data and we're going to keep it in China and we're going to sell it to whoever the hell we please. I'm certainly not going to use that. But you don't care. All the power to you. Download it, use it, do whatever you want. So that is kind of my thoughts on this whole DeepSeek thing. But the real focus for me is not DeepSeek itself. I can care less about the actual company DeepSeek. It's meaningless to me. What it does for me is I think it accelerates my thought process that companies are going to be more conscious of the money they invest in AI infrastructure, and they're going to focus more on application rollout and how do they monetize all the investment that they've already made. And that's going to benefit the software companies, which is part of the reason why all these software companies like a Salesforce and a ServiceNow, Adobe is another one actually that should benefit from this. Microsoft is another company that should benefit from this. Meta, because of the open source model, and Meta with Llama and everything being open source there, Meta would benefit from this. That's why Meta made a new all-time high today and very quickly went red to green. There are companies out there that would benefit from this whole entire transition. So although I think that this will turn out to be an overreaction, and I think as time goes on, people might learn that, oh yeah, actually, they probably did have access to NVIDIA GPUs, and that's how they were able to do this. Although that may prove to be the case in the future, I still think it makes investors second guess the moat that they thought was surrounding NVIDIA. And they realized very quickly that NVIDIA may not be untouchable. So I was cautious on NVIDIA coming into this year. It literally says it blatantly, black and white, in my market outlook report that I'm cautious on NVIDIA this year. I said I think NVIDIA is susceptible to a significant pullback this year. It's in the market outlook report. And I said, I believe that an equal weight S&P play this year is better off than a market cap weighted play. And part of the reason for that is because I was cautious and skeptical on NVIDIA this year. And this just kind of accelerates that idea for me. So that takes me to the trade ideas for the day. We came into the day today and everybody's freaking out, right? As the market sold off yesterday, we wake up and everyone's looking at NVIDIA down double digits, and NVIDIA at the time was down 10, 11%. And everybody's panicking and everybody's freaking out. And I come in and I'm like, guys, listen, I was like, there's nothing to freak out about here right now. I mean, I didn't think that it was going to be the reason was going to be DeepSeek, but I'm like, This shouldn't surprise anybody. This is all what we expected this year. We expected Nvidia to have a pullback this year. And I started to look around and I thought about, okay, this whole DeepSeek situation, this should accelerate and this should speed up my idea about software. So the fundamental catalyst was there for potentially seeing strength today in software. I want to give you guys kind of a walk down the lane of my thought process when it comes to how do I come up with my trade ideas, right? Because I go through a fundamental analysis, I go through a technical analysis, and when I have situations where fundamental catalysts coincide with a technical setup, that's an A setup. That's an A quality setup. Go after that setup every single time because it's going to give you the highest probable success rate. So when we woke up today and I was like, okay, that's the reason why markets are down, this whole DeepSeek situation. So that should help my software idea, as I believe it's going to make companies second guess their CapEx and their AI infrastructure spending and focus more on software and application rollout and monetization. So we should see a bid fundamentally with the back of this news on software names. But then from a technical standpoint, we come in today and I'm looking at Snowflake, I'm looking at Salesforce, I'm looking at ServiceNow, and I'm saying these are all the software companies that I like. And all of them put in the low of the day, the pre-market low at around 6 a.m. this morning, and then we're pushing higher ever since. The closer you got to the bell, the more those stocks continued to push higher as they recouped a lot of that initial opening pre-market sell-off. And I'm saying to myself, okay, we're down 2% on the S&P, 2.5% on the NASDAQ. Nvidia's down 11%. Broadcom's down 11%. ARM's down 10%. But yet Salesforce was down 0.5%. Snowflake was down 1%. And I'm saying to myself, okay, these stocks are now relatively strong, right? These are relatively strong compared to what's happening in the areas of semis and AI. And that's when I said to myself, this is not an overall blanket market sell-off. This is an AI-related infrastructure sell-off. And that's exactly what the day ended up being, as healthcare did well, software did well, financials did well. Plenty of areas of the market you could have found opportunities today on the buy side. The Dow, look what the Dow did today. That's the Dow. Look at that candle. Boom. Really? Up 0.7 on the Dow, up over 200 points on the Dow. It doesn't feel like that. When you take a look at Nvidia, you take a look at this at the NASDAQ, you feel like today was a overall market disaster, that it was a risk-off trade. It was not a risk-off trade. The market breadth today was very constructive. Today was more rotation. It was profit taking out of Nvidia and AI infrastructure, AI energy generation, data center management, AI hardware and semiconductors. It was rotation out of there. And that money very quickly found a home. It was not a sell everything. That is very healthy. It's healthy. It's constructive. On any other situation, if I said to you, Nvidia is going to be down 16%, what do you think the overall market's going to look like? You probably would have thought it would have been an absolute bloodbath. It's not. The Dow is green and the S&P equal weight is green. It's green. The S&P 500 is a market cap weighted ETF or index, and the SPY is the ETF, but it's a market cap weighted index. So the biggest market cap companies will have the biggest drag and the biggest effect on what the actual S&P does. So when you have Nvidia, which is flopping between first and second on the largest market cap company, and then Microsoft, you have Apple, Nvidia, and Microsoft are 1, 2, and 3, and they just jock back and forth between who's first, who's second, who's third. And you get Nvidia down 15, a huge gap down on Microsoft today, even though Microsoft recovered throughout the day. And you end up with the day where the S&P is down 1.5%, but the RSP, which is the equal weight S&P ETF, is green. So that means the other 498 S&P 500 components didn't sell off today. That's a good sign. That's not a sign for panic. That's a sign for you better get invested in the right places. If you want a chance at outperforming the market this year, you got to get in the right places. That's why we issue the stock market outlook report. And true or false, Because if you're on this live stream and you are not a member, you have not read my market outlook report. It's 24 pages long. True or false, members? Did I or did I not, in my market outlook report, say I favor an equal weight strategy this year over a market cap weighted index? And I think Nvidia is susceptible to a pullback this year. And I am bullish on software services this year. True or false? Is that or is that not in my market outlook report? Because I really don't want people to come on the live stream and be like, oh, yeah, you're going to say that now after the fact. I said that weeks ago. It's in the market outlook report. And I know if you're not a member, you don't know it because you haven't read it. And I understand the skepticism. I really do. I get it. You shouldn't just believe me because I'm on a YouTube channel. I have a cool painting behind me. You shouldn't just believe the things that I say. It matters what, to confirm the things that I say. And you can see all the members right here that are telling you, yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. This takes me to my trade ideas for today. I didn't come into the day today freaking out. I didn't come into the day today and say, oh my God, what are we going to do? Oh my God, we got to sell everything. Oh, short this, short that, short this. I came into the day today and I said, guys, honestly, I think this is an overreaction. I think the markets are going to try to bounce. And I believe that software is going to have a good day today. And I told everybody, to many's maybe misbelief, I'm looking for longs today in software names like Salesforce, like Snowflake. Those are the exact stocks that I traded today, and we absolutely crushed it. The call option on Salesforce went from $5 to $18.50. $5 to $18.50 in a couple hours. This is the type of volatility that you better be ready for, because I don't think we're done. You haven't had earnings yet. You're still going to get earnings from Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, ServiceNow, IBM, ASML, Starbucks, Apple. You're still going to get earnings from all those companies this week. That's going to add to the volatility. Then you have a Fed meeting on Wednesday. That's going to add to the volatility. Get ready. I told you yesterday, this is not the week to try to trade on your own. This is the week that could potentially make your entire month, even maybe your entire year, if you catch the right trades. Well, a more than 200% gain today on Salesforce certainly could have accelerated the process of you getting to a point where your whole month is made in a day, or maybe even your whole year being made in a week. I'm going to play for you the very quick video clip from this morning pre-market inside the Teach Sheet platform. This is not from YouTube. This is from today pre-market. When I go over my watch list with all of our members, I say, these are the stocks we're focused on. And guys, listen, I'm not going to be right all the time. Okay. I'm not trying to sit here and be like, look at me. Yay. I'm such a great trader. That's not the point of what I'm trying to do, because I'm also wrong sometimes. I make red trades. I'm not right all the time. I don't have a 100% win rate. Just so happens that my analysis today was absolutely perfectly spot on. And I want you to understand how I came to that analysis. That's, to me, what is important. What's important to me, how you will actually learn, is to understand why I do the things that I do, not just knowing what I did. Why did I do what I did? How did I come to that conclusion? What is my thought process? How do I identify trade ideas? That's how you'll actually become a better trader. That's why I'm harping on this. It's not to be like, yay, look at me. Because I come on here too. When I'm wrong, I tell you I'm wrong. And when I lose money, I tell you when I lose money. I'm fully transparent, where I'm an open book here at TTJ. You ask anybody, they'll tell you the same. I'm going to play these video clips from you from pre-market when we say, hey, this is the analysis. These are stocks we're focused on. This is what we expect them to do. Okay. And we'll start with the Salesforce trade. The Salesforce trade was trade of the day by far. Right. I mean, over 200% gain in just a matter of a couple hours. I'm actually still long a small piece of that position. I have a runner on the trade. My daughter actually made her. My daughter's almost 6 months old, and she made her first trade today. I had her on my lap today. And when I went to take profit on Salesforce, I put an order out above $350. There's a little bit of resistance up there around $350. So when we pushed into that, I wanted to take some profit. I took some shares off the table, and I set the order, and I had my daughter on my lap, and she actually pushed the key. Well, I kind of helped her. I took her hand and I just I pushed the key, but she placed the limit sell order that got filled above 351 for my best take profit on the day. But I'm still long a piece of the positions. This was a special trade for me today. Obviously, that moment with my daughter was actually really cool. First, she was on my lap. She pushed the button. We took profit on the trade. It was really cool. But aside from that, I want to play the video clip for you guys. Again, this is inside the True Trading Group platform. I want you to listen. It's quick. It's only like 20 seconds long. I kept it real short and sweet. I want you to listen to me very carefully, what I say about Salesforce and what I'm expecting the stock to do today. Let's go ahead and play that clip. Salesforce is another one that I'm going to look for. Salesforce support 330. Okay, 330 support for Salesforce, and we're going to look for that to go red to green, break above the 50-day, and continue higher throughout the rest of the week. That's Salesforce. So there it is. That right there, you heard me say 330. You heard me say 330 support, break above the 50-day, continue higher. That's what you heard me say. Excellent. Let's go to the chart. There's Salesforce. What's the low of the day today? $330.50. Yep. $330.50. There's the low of the day. Here's that dark blue line on my screen. That's the 50-day moving average. So we said, let's break above the 50-day moving average and continue higher. There's the 50-day moving average. You broke above it. And then let's continue higher. There's your continuation higher. Congratulations to members. This was a greater than 200% gain on the call option. I entered the trade at $333 and a couple cents. I went after, I'll go to a 1-minute chart just to kind of zoom this in to kind of show you guys. I went after this thing very early. The risk reward was there. And right off the opening print, we shot up to go red to green. And that's really was all I needed to see. Right off the opening print, this is a 1-minute candle. I don't trade off 1-minute candles. I trade off 3 minutes, but I'm showing you to see the price actions. You can really see it. Right off the open, we shot to green. And I said, that's it. This thing is strong today. The markets are getting their asses kicked, and this thing prints green right off the opening print. I said, I'm going long. And then we had a little pullback down here into 332.5. I got a partial fill on this order back down, and I moved my order back up, and I got filled right inside of this tail. This tail right inside here is where I went ahead and took my fill. I told members, if you want to follow me on the trade, go after the January 31st $335 strike call. At the time, that call was trading at around $5, and the thing just absolutely lights it up right out of the gate, pulls in for good measure, and then just rips it right into the middle of the day. And we just continue. We took profits off in the morning. We took profits then off on the break and here. So here are my take profits on the day. And I'm still in a piece of, I'm sorry. And then here's this is a 1-minute chart, so it screws me up. And then here is the other. There's the one I took with my daughter. The one I took with my daughter was right there. But I still am in one. I got to switch to a 3-minute chart. This 1-minute chart's driving me nuts. There it is. So much cleaner. I don't know how people trade with 1-minute charts. It's not this. It's not right or wrong. I just prefer a 3-minute chart. For me, it's cleaner. But that is the trade of the day there, guys, on Salesforce. I'm still long some. And this is one of my picks for 2025. And so far, we are off to a pretty good start. Salesforce should be a beneficiary of this whole DeepSeek situation. And I took profits off there into this resistance level that you guys can see here on my chart. Resistance. You gapped above it, and then support, broke it. So now that could be a level of resistance, which is why we took profit into that level. And I'm going to hold on to a runner in case we get a little follow through on the back of the strength today. I'm holding on just to see if we get a little bit more, and I'll be flat this thing up around probably 360 if we get a little bit more juice. But I'm down to around 10% of my original position size, just a runner. Okay, just a runner. And then we also have Snowflake. Snowflake is actually a swing trade that I've been in since last week. Okay, I've been in since last week, and we were able to get our profits off today at our target. Our target for the trade was the low 180s. We got there today, and I'm now also down to a small piece on this position as we took profits on Snow into the low 180s, which was our target when we entered this trade, okay, earlier in the week, right? That was the target, and we got that today, so we took profits off. I'm still long also Snowflake, but it's a small position. The bulk of this position is now off the table. So just like you heard me there with Salesforce, let's go ahead and let's play the video clip where I'm discussing my analysis for Snowflake. So let's look at Snowflake. I'm going to see if there's maybe support around 168. If there's support around 168, possibly maybe that could be an area. And we look for the stock to try to go red to green, or at least try to get into resistance of 173. 173 is going to be an area of resistance. But if you take that out, we should be able to clear, move higher. So there it is. So that's Snowflake. You heard me say 173 could be an area of resistance, but if you take that out, we should be clear to move higher. Let's draw a line across 173. All right. There's your 173. Okay, there it is. There's your resistance, just so you guys can see, right? I want you guys to see where I come up with these ideas from. Why did I say 173? Well, because of this level that you guys can see here. Right? Resistance, got above it, support. And then this morning we gapped underneath it. So I said, you might have resistance at 173 because this used to be support. So support when broken sometimes acts as resistance. So I said, if you get above it, then we should be clean to move higher, because that means that level is not resistance. It's still support. We just gapped underneath it because of the outlier and the increased volatility. But that would mean then the long is still intact if we can get above 173. Right off the open, what happened? We popped well above 173, went all the way to 176. That was all the confirmation that you needed. And the stock just lights it up and pushes all the way up to 182, high of the day. And we take profits off there at 182. Stock then ends up pulling back later in the day. Again, I'm still long a piece. My stop loss is that 173 on this remaining piece of the position. But again, the bulk of the position, about 85% of that trade is now off the table. I am still in about 15%, maybe 15 or 20% of that position I still have on. But like I said, just like with the Salesforce trade, I am out of the bulk of that position. Okay. So big shout out and a big congratulations to all the members of True Trading Group that were able to capitalize and catch that move. Congrats. I'm curious to see how many people we have on the live stream right now that are not members of True Trading. If you guys do me a favor and just type TTG if you guys are not a member. I want to show you something. If you're not a member, type TTG, please. I want to show you guys specifically. I want to show you guys something specifically. So if you are not a member, please go ahead and type the letters TTG inside chat right now. I want to see how many people we have in here that are not part of the TTG community. It's a big day today. Obviously, markets went crazy. Nvidia went crazy. There's a lot of people that are looking around. That are searching and probably on YouTube and on Reddit and Discord trying to look for some guidance on what it is that they should be doing with their positions. Diana, 9. Sean, you kill me. Wayne. All right, cool. What I want to show you guys, okay, real quick. I want you guys to pay very close attention to the next question I'm about to ask. Members of True Trading Group. If you are making money, if you are becoming a better trader because of TTG, type the number 1 inside of chat right now. Very simple, straightforward question. Are you making money because of TTG? If the answer is yes, type the number 1 in chat right now. Those of you that are not members, those of you that were typing TTG, pay very close attention to all the people that you see type the number 1 inside of the chat. These people you see typing the number 1 are your friends. They're your family members. They are your coworkers. They are complete strangers. They are you. If they can do this, then so can you. If they're able to sit here and tell you that they're actually making money, then why can you not? There is no reason why you can't. They also have full-time jobs. 82% of our members have a full-time job. They're not luckier than you. They don't have more time than you. They're busy just like you are. Our platform is built and designed for people with busy lives. We have a mobile app that lets you follow along with what we're doing, even if you're not in front of your computer. You'll get push notifications when our moderators enter and exit positions, so you know exactly when we're in and when we're out. We day trade, we swing trade, we trade stocks, options, futures. We literally do it all inside a True Trading Group. If they can do this, so can you. Now, I told you guys last night, if you were here, we had 17 laptops. I believe we're spacing them out. I think we're down to 15 now. So if you guys would like a free laptop with your membership, you can go to ttgoffer.com. This is the last batch of laptops we think that we're going to be able to get our hands on. So if you go to ttgoffer.com, everything you see on that page is included with your membership, as well as a free HP laptop. Comes with Microsoft 365. Windows 11, you guys get access to everything that's on that page. It's free, but the laptops are the last that we have. So what we're doing is, if you do not want the laptop and instead you'd rather have a cheaper price to join the membership, send a text message to 1-888-621-2127. That's 1-888-621-2127. The phone number is the bottom of your screen. Again, if you do not want the free laptop, instead you would rather have a cheaper price, go ahead and text 1-888-621-2127. Everything on that page is included in your membership. The membership is normally over $2,000 for the year. If you join now, you'll pay $1,047. That includes the free laptop. If you do not want the laptop, we will give you a price that is cheaper than the $1,047. All you need to do is text that phone number, and we will give you guys a cheaper price. Everything on ttgoffer.com is included with your membership, whether you opt for the laptop or not. Everything on that page is included. There's no upsell or additional cost for anything you see on that page. It includes our entire 22-course curriculum, which is a simplified version of the training I received working at a fund in New York, Benzinga Pro's real-time newsfeed, Trading Views charts, the Trade Idea scanner for you to use, unusual options activity, options flow, dark pool data, short data, congressional trading data. It is all there for you to use. There is no upsell for any of those items. You pay for the membership, you get all of those things. We also offer a double your money back guarantee to give you peace of mind. Our refund rate is actually less than 2.5%, so I could offer you double your money back. It's quite simple. You join, and I ask you to do 3 things. Go through the courses, pass the quizzes, and attend one study group. If you do those things, and you are still not able to make enough winning trades to equal the cost of your membership at least one time during your membership, I will not just give you back what you paid for your membership. I will give you back double what you paid for your membership. So let's say you joined and you wanted the free laptop and you paid $1,047. If you are unable to make enough winning trades to equal the $1,047, we will give you back $2,094, and you can keep the laptop. Okay. The W money back guarantee is right there on the checkout page. It is real. It is in black and white. Go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read it. Again, everything, guys, on that page is included. If you do not want the laptop, instead you'd rather have a cheaper price, just text 1-888-621-2127. All right. So there you guys have that. Let's talk about what we expect now. So let's look at Snowflake. I'm going to see if there's maybe support around 168. What's going on there, Joe? Look at Joe replaying the video clip. All right, so let's talk about where we go from here. I really do think that what we saw today, I really think what we saw today is actually healthy. You know, the stocks that went down today were the highest multiple and the highest valuation stocks in the market. And the stocks that went up today are not. Money came out of areas of the market that were considered expensive and frothy, and they went into areas of the market that are not. I don't think that this changes anything from a macroeconomic standpoint. I'm not sounding an alarm. I'm not waving a red flag. And the economy is still fine. I think tech stocks are still fine. And I think that if you don't own Nvidia at all, today's sell-off is a chance to grab some shares, but I do think there's more downside as the year goes on. So, again, with Nvidia, we did get underneath this 200-day moving average for the first time since 2020. Wow. The last time Nvidia closed underneath the 200-day moving average was the second week of January of 2023. So literally, you got to go all the way back to here, the last time Nvidia closed under the 200-day moving average. And that's right before the AI explosion that was 23 and then eventually 24. So I do think that it's a decent spot. If you don't own anything, I think it's a decent spot to grab some. But for me, really, the spot that I'm looking for to add some, and I do think Nvidia has this downside in it this year, is down here. It's closer to 100. So could you bounce tomorrow on Nvidia? Sure. Could Nvidia do something like this tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah. But I then think that this 130 area acts as resistance. And I think if you get something that looks like this on Nvidia, I think it then does that. And I think that then acts as resistance and then trades lower as the year goes on. As the year goes on, I think that Nvidia is susceptible this year to a pullback. And I think you have a very firm triple top in place with an earnings beat that ended up failing. And I think that if it looks like the growth rate and the demand for their high-end Nvidia chips are going to start to fade a little bit or going to slow down, then that means that the stock would have more downside. A lot of people didn't sell the stock today because I think it's an overreaction. But if the earnings begin to tell you otherwise, the earnings actually say that their growth has slowed and the demand for their high-end chips has slowed. There's a lot riding on the Blackwell chip. And if the demand for that Blackwell chip does not meet and exceed the expectations that Jensen Huang placed on it this year, then this stock has more downside. And I think you're going to be looking closer to that $100 number. So at some point later this year, I believe that you're going to see Nvidia at or near $100. Okay. So those are my thoughts. I've gotten a lot of DMs and a lot of questions from people today asking about Nvidia specifically, obviously, right? You'd have to be, living under a rock if you weren't wondering what the hell to do with Nvidia. One of my closest friends actually texted me today because he actually messaged me on January 9th, I think it was. I was like, hey, should I get into Nvidia here? And I was like, no. I was like, I'm cautious on Nvidia. I mean, it's actually... Let's see. Joe, I'm going to send you this, Joe. So then you can pull it up on the screen. It was January 8th. It was January 8th. Oh, we got to welcome Jesus. Jesus just joined. No laptop. Jesus said, I don't need the laptop. I'll take a cheaper price. So everybody welcome Jesus, which means we still have 15 laptops. So this is what I'm saying. Because we don't have any more, we're not going to get any more. I want to give them to the people that need them. So if you don't need a laptop or you don't want one, I'll give you guys a cheaper price than the 1,047. Just send a text message to 1-888-621-2127. But if you guys need a new laptop, maybe your kid needs a laptop for school, or maybe you need one for work, or maybe you want one to trade with, whatever. You need a gift for somebody. And you'll pay $1,047. That includes the laptop. And then we got to welcome Jason, also joined without a laptop. So now we have Jesus and Jason, no laptop for either one of them, both opting for the cheaper price. Again, that's 1-888-621-2127, or go to ttgoffer.com, and that would include the laptop. Okay, no laptop, you text. Laptop, you go to ttgoffer.com. All right. So, Joe, I don't know, did you get the image I sent you, Joe? If you can pull that one up on the screen just to show people. This was, yep, there it is. So this is on January 8th. Okay, a buddy of mine texted me on January 8th and says, I'll read it to you, literally says, should I enter NVIDIA here? My response on January 8th, Nah, I'm cautious. Semis this year, I think, could see a digestion of AI CapEx spending by the big hyperscalers this year. There's a lot riding on demand for Nvidia's new Blackwell chips. If the demand slows or doesn't meet expectations, there's room for a nice pullback. He says, okay, I'll wait. Been waiting for the pullback and wondering if this is it or if there's more coming. I said, I think there's more coming. And then I sent him a wink emoji today. So that was the last time I spoke to him, was January 8th. And then I text him today at 2:33 in the afternoon with a wink face. All right. I text him with a wink face. All right. So there it is. So you guys can see that's been my analysis now, for the last several weeks. This doesn't necessarily change anything. We have to welcome Tan. Welcome back home. Tan, welcome back home. Tan is the newest member of the group. Welcome back home. And Tan took the laptop, which means now we only have 14. All right, so Tan took a laptop, which means now there are only 14 laptops remaining. Go to ttgoffer.com and a free laptop awaits you. If you do not need or want a free laptop and rather would pay a cheaper price, you can send a text message to 1-888-621-2127. Find out what that cheaper price is, and then you can decide if you'd rather have the laptop or no laptop. But either way, text that number, 1-888-621-2127. All right, so there you go. So everybody welcome Tan, newest member of the group. Does anybody have any questions for me? I'm going to assume that there are lots and lots and lots of questions. Oh, man, Zhao. That's incorrect. Anybody have any questions at all? Any questions? Any questions on anything that I said? Any questions on the stocks that we talked about? Any questions on Nvidia, Salesforce, anything that you guys want to know? Can you explain the difference between equal weight SPY and regular SPY? Yes. So it's not necessarily equal weight SPY. SPY is the ETF for the S&P 500. So SPY is a market cap weighted ETF essentially because it's an ETF of the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is a market cap weighted index. A market cap weighted index means the S&P 500 is made up of 500 companies. The bigger the market cap, the bigger the influence that stock price will have on the index itself. Okay. So for example, if Nvidia were to go down 10% in one day and Apple was to go down 5% in one day, that is going to have a much bigger drag on the S&P than if the number 423rd ranked stock went down 10% and the number 421st ranked stock went down 5%. That will have very little impact on the S&P 500 if those stocks went down 10%. But if Nvidia and Apple went down 10%, that's going to have a massive impact on the S&P because it is a market cap weighted index. The bigger the market cap, the bigger the influence on the index. Okay. A equal weighted index means all 500 stocks have an equal and even impact on the movement of the index. So if Apple goes up 5% and stock number 500 goes down 5%, they cancel each other out. So an equal weight S&P would go higher, even though the top 5 stocks could have went down. If the top 5 stocks went down, if all 5 stocks, let's say in the S&P 500, went down 5%, the S&P 500 is going to be red because those 5 companies, their market cap added up together is like 40% of the S&P 500 from a market cap standpoint. But In an equal weight ETF, those top 5 stocks can go down and the other 495 can go up. And the equal weight S&P index would be up a lot on the day. Does that make sense? So SPY is an ETF of the S&P 500. RSP is the S&P 500 equal weighted ETF. So you can buy the RSP, and that's an equal weighted S&P. I think that in 2025, the RSP is going to outperform the regular SPY. And so far, it has. It's very early. We're only 1 month into the year, but so far the RSP is up more than the SPY. I think when you fast forward to the end of this year, I think the RSP is going to be up a greater percentage than the SPY. Okay. That's my thought process for this year. All right. That's my thought process. Are you positioned in RSP in your long-term portfolio for this year? If not, did you make other moves to execute on your 2025 outlook equal weight thesis? So Nick, I did buy some RSP because I don't. So here's the deal. I bought the RSP because I practice what I preach. And if I'm going to put out a market outlook report for members that says I think RSP does better than SPY, then I'm going to actually put my money where my mouth is. So, but my portfolio, okay, is I'm positioned to where I've added to financials and software names, because those are areas of the market that I think are going to do well this year. There's really 2 themes that I really wanted to focus on this year. And one was I want to take advantage from a deregulation environment, and financials should do well in a deregulation environment. So I like financials like JP Morgan, I like Wells Fargo, I like Goldman Sachs, like the KBWB ETF, like the XLF ETF. Visa, MasterCard had massive days today. Those are big components on the XLF. MasterCard was an absolute monster today. New all-time high for MasterCard. Visa, new all-time high today. Those are 2 of the top 10 weightings in the XLF ETF. It's important you guys understand the XLF is not just banks. The XLF is credit card companies, insurance companies, financial services, and banks. Okay, that's the XLF. The KBWB is only banks. Okay, that's only banks. So 2 different ETFs. I like both. Okay, and that's another one of the ways that I can try to play that broaden out, because the banks are not going to have, these are much smaller market cap companies than, Nvidia and Apple. I don't think Nvidia and Apple are going to do all that well in 2025. And I think that's going to be a drag on the S&P 500 index. But I think that with the underpinnings of a strong economy and deregulation and high growth environment and the implementation of growth policies, I think that the rest of the S&P 500 can actually do well this year. And with valuations stretched and what I think are expensive valuations on the S&P 500 as a whole, being at 22 times forward PE, 25 times trailing PE, which both are well above historical averages and are close to the all-time high multiples that you're looking at for forward PE and trailing PE on the S&P 500. So they're not quite at all-time highs, but close. So I think that you take a look at some of these valuations. I'm like, these valuations are high, especially if we're thinking that inflation might be stickier this year and interest rates might stay elevated for longer than we thought, less rate cuts this year. Then that should put a little pressure or keep the lid on some of those real high valuation names that mean that they're going to have to really deliver on earnings in order for those stocks to continue to move higher. And if they don't, there's room and they're susceptible for pullbacks. And I think that investors would take their profit in those names, but still while saying the economy still looks good. So I don't want to sell out and be risk off. I just want to move that capital to cheaper areas of the market. And that's the rest of the S&P 500. That's the S&P 497. The Magnificent Seven are all the big giant market cap companies, the Teslas, the Metas, the Amazons, the Alphabets, the Microsofts, the Apples, and the Nvidias. I do think Meta and Amazon have good years this year, but I think that Apple and Nvidia specifically could be a drag on the S&P 500. So my thought process is I want exposure to the rest of the market as the economy, I think, is going to do well. But there's areas that I think are expensive in the market. And that just happens to be the biggest market cap companies in the index. And that's why I think an equal weight strategy is going to be better off this year. So those are my thoughts. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. It is very, very, very early. I'm not trying to count my chickens before they hatch. Yes, so far in the month of January, it looks like I'm right, but there is a lot of year left. There's a lot of volatility to come. There's a lot more catalysts that we have not even thought of yet. Nobody thought a week ago that we were going to wake up one day and DeepSeek is going to be the news of the talk of the town, and Nvidia is going to be down 17% because of it. Nobody had that on their card for this year, but yet here it is, and we have to adapt, and we have to identify opportunities with what the market gives us, not panic. Clear heads prevail. Don't ever panic when the markets are down big or up big. Understand why the markets are doing what they're doing so that you can keep a clear head and you can identify trade opportunities. I didn't want to look at my long-term portfolio today because if I did, I was probably down a small house today in my long-term portfolio. Today's not the day to pull up your long-term portfolio and be like, no. What are you going to do? Is it going to cause me to sell stuff? Of course not. I'm 39 years old. You think I'm selling this stuff? No. I think the economy is going to be okay. I'm not selling this stuff. I'm going to hold these stocks for the next 10 years. I'm not selling them. I did my selling in 2021. I bought everything back in 22. I added in 23. I added in 24. I'm not looking to sell stuff. I'm only going to sell stuff when I feel like, oh yeah, there's a no-brainer. There's a recession coming. You'll lose more money trying to time the market than if you actually sat through a crash. And that's the truth. Like if you try to get too cute with your long-term portfolio and you're like, all right, well, I'm going to take profit here and then the stock goes down and then you're like, I'm going to buy it back. And then you don't, and the stock bounces, and then it goes above where you sold it. And you're like, when do I get back in? You end up never getting back in. And the stock just goes higher for the next 3 years and you never get back in. You'll lose more money missing that than you will sitting in a stock that goes down 25% and then recovers a year later. This doesn't change my long-term outlook on AI. It doesn't change my long-term outlook on these stocks. Just because I think Nvidia doesn't have a great year this year doesn't mean that I think it's time to sell Nvidia. I'm still holding Nvidia. Ask me 7 years from now if I still own Nvidia. The answer is yes. I just think that from a calendar year perspective, which is what the market outlook report is supposed to do, I just think that there's going to be another place to get a better return this year. That's it. That doesn't mean that I hate Nvidia. I just think that the stocks don't go up forever. You got to have points where they pull back and they digest and they consolidate. And people take profit and it goes down. Nvidia is up 1,500% in the last 3 years. It can't just go up every single year. It's got to go down at some point. And when it goes down and everybody's like, oh my God, this is the end of Nvidia. Nvidia is a piece of garbage. The world is over. Nvidia is going to become the next Cisco. When everybody's saying that, that's when you go and buy it. I will add to Nvidia when the time is right. I don't think the time is right. The end. I stick my neck out there. I tell you exactly what I think. Sometimes I'm right. Sometimes I'm wrong. I'm right a hell of a lot more than I'm wrong, but I will be wrong too. I'm not right all the time, but these are my thoughts. I love sharing them with you. You can let me know in the comments if you agree with me or not. Thanks for tuning in. That wraps it up there for the live. Again, guys, if you want a free laptop, go to ttgoffer.com. Everything on that page is included with your membership. You also get a double your money back guarantee. Don't forget that. I don't think you need it. Considering our refund rate is less than 2.5%, it's literally right there. Go read it. There's a double money back guarantee. But it gives you peace of mind. It gives you peace of mind. All right? And it holds us accountable. But I don't think you need it. If you do not want the free laptop, send a text message. We'll give you a cheaper price on the membership. 1-888-621-2127. We have 14 of those laptops left. Again, if you don't want them, send us a text. We'll give you a cheaper price since you're not going to take the laptop, since this is the last batch that we are getting. All right. That is all, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hope you have a better understanding of what happened today and what I think is going to happen going forward. And at least you know what I'm doing with my money. And congratulations to members. It was a big day today. I knew this was going to be a volatile week, not because I didn't think that we were going to have this DeepSeek situation, but last week I knew this was going to be a big week with all the earnings and the Fed meeting. This is just one more thing that's going to add to the volatility. Volatility means great trading opportunities for us to make money. I'll see you guys all in chat tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and I will see you all in chat tomorrow. All right. Have a wonderful night, folks. Take care.